Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So, Trump's legal team, they don't appear to be vetting any of their so-called witnesses. I'm guessing their motto is any port in a storm. So, I recently shared with you the fact that Sidney Powell kept promoting this military intelligence officer as a witness, and then it was later revealed that no, he never actually worked in intelligence and never even completed his training. And of course, who can forget Melissa Carone, Miss I Was Threatened, who claimed to be an IT contractor for Dominion, but now we know she was just hired by a temp agency for a one-day gig. And they really just brought her in to clean the glass on the ballot machines. And she has a criminal history and just got off probation 2 months prior to the election. Well, now we can add another character. We can add another conspiracy clown to this list because Sidney Powell told the U.S. Supreme Court that she had this super secret former intelligence contractor witness who provided Trump's legal team, or at least Powell, with information about a foreign conspiracy to rig our election. This so-called intelligence contractor is a woman named, and I'm probably going to butcher her name, but I'm going to give it a shot, Terpsichore Maris Lindemann. Maras Lindemann, I believe is her last name. It's hyphenated. She goes by the name of Tori, spelled with an E instead of a Y, so Tore. And she did confirm with Washington Post journalists that she is in fact the witness who signed an affidavit that was provided to Powell. Powell was trying to keep her identity secret. Powell said, oh, we can't have her identity out there. It'll put her in danger in her work and blah, blah, blah. So here's the problem with Maris Lindemann. She's essentially a mini-me version of Donald Trump. Seriously, this woman is, or at least appears to be, a complete and total con artist. In 2018, the state of North Dakota filed a civil fraud case against her after she grifted charitable donations and lied about her background and education. Sound familiar? I mean, we could be describing Trump with the exception of the North Dakota part. So what has been revealed about this woman is truly mind-blowing. I would personally love to see her under cross-examination in a case about this so-called voter fraud. So here's the deal and how it all unraveled for Miss Maris Lindemann. In 2017, she held a so-called charitable event called A Magic City Christmas. Sounds great, doesn't it? Yeah, well, the North Dakota Attorney General said that basically her event hit their radar because she claimed and was promoting this event as being sponsored by the Bank of North Dakota. That was a lie. Apparently one of many that she told involving this event. So Maris Lindemann claimed that the money that she generated from this so-called charitable event was going to be used to fund homeless shelters, and she was going to use it to place wreaths on veterans' graves. Instead, investigators found that she used the money to purchase food at McDonald's and to make purchases at drugstores and elsewhere. And they said, this could have been all over. We could have just settled this if she would have just returned the money to the people who purchased tickets for the event. But she wouldn't do that. And according to North Dakota attorneys, not only did she do this, but she allegedly lied about being a physician. She lied about having a PhD and an MBA on a school website where Maris Lindemann held this unpaid volunteer teaching position for, they said, somewhere around 18 months to 2 years. Her biography stated that she had received a PhD and they referred to her as a doctor. And she also filed numerous cases in small claims court in North Dakota where she stated that she was a pediatric oncologist. Investigators also found a cancer research website created under the name of ML Laboratories, Morris Lindemann Laboratories, would that be? And the website referred to her as Dr. Tori Morris Lindemann. It also stated that she was the founder of this cancer research organization. She also used an email address and a Twitter account that identified her as Dr. Lindemann. However, when they investigated, prosecutors found that not only was Morris Lindemann not a pediatric oncologist or cancer researcher, but she had only ever received a bachelor's degree in biology. Prosecutors also say that she used multiple aliases and social security numbers, and that she created an exaggerated online resume in, quote, a persistent effort to deceive others. But wait, there's more. It doesn't end there. Here's how grotesque and vile this woman is, and why every Republican should be calling for her arrest. If Republicans mean what they say, if they truly revere the military, then they should be outraged and calling for this woman to go to jail. Morris Lindemann had a profile on an online veteran community called Together We Served. In this profile, it says that she was a lieutenant and that she had been deployed to combat zones in Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. It also falsely claimed that she served in the Office of Naval Intelligence, and it said that she had received numerous medals, including a Purple Heart. And in a court filing related to this fraud case in North Dakota, she said that she worked as a contractor beginning in 1996, and that she had been, quote, a vendor with certain programs associated with USS OCOM. Now, that acronym stands for U.S. Special Operations Command. When the Washington Post reached out to inquire about her work with this special command group, though, reporters were told that they have no record of any contract work with Morris Lindemann. Thankfully, the judge in the fraud lawsuit ordered her to pay $25,000, and they ruled that she violated consumer protection laws by misusing funds and misrepresenting her experience and education. As for her true credentials, she served in the Navy for only 8 months, all the way back in the mid-1990s. And even her Navy separation document raises some questions about her time in the military. The document, which she posted on Twitter, and then she also provided a copy to the Washington Post, shows her discharge as, quote, general under honorable conditions. Now, that's very important because that's different than an honorable discharge. An honorable discharge, if you look up the meaning, it says that the service member, quote, performed duties well, faithfully executed the mission, and was an asset to the branch of the military where the member served. If you look up the definition of a general discharge under honorable conditions, that has a very different meaning. It means, quote, the overall conduct of the military member may have been exemplary in some areas, but other areas of misconduct or failure to adapt to the military environment may have resulted in such a discharge. So according to the website militarybenefits.org, this type of military release, the general discharge, it's not the same as a dishonorable discharge. That's something completely different. But if you have to show documentation of your discharge for employment or some other reason, it could negatively impact a veteran, is what they say. So clearly she wasn't a model military officer. So here's what she's doing now. She's now a full-time Pizzagate peddling, Trump supporting podcast host who is continuing to perpetuate this myth of election fraud. And she appears to be continuing with the fabrication of her credentials and education, because the Washington Post found a LinkedIn profile for Tori Morris Lindemann, claiming that she holds 8 academic degrees in both the US and UK, as well as numerous professional qualifications that I don't believe appear anywhere else. So since they reached out to her for the story, what do you know? That LinkedIn profile was removed. Now, Mars Lindemann claims that all of these online profiles were created by other people who are just out to get her. And she also claims that she worked as some sort of secret spy and computer hacker. There was a documentary where she was featured, and she claimed in that documentary that she worked directly with John Brennan in 2008. Now, this was before he was the head of the CIA. At the time, he was the head of a private security firm. She alleges that while she was working with Brennan at that time, he ordered her to hack into the State Department system and retrieve passport records for presidential candidates, which at the time, there was an incident, and it included Barack Obama's records. But if you look at what was reported at that time about that incident, the State Department said that it was 2 employees. 2 State Department employees didn't hack into the system. They just merely accessed the system through official channels. And apparently that's not allowed. So for anybody who's considered high profile, employees are not allowed to go in and look at their passports. So anybody like a celebrity or a politician, but they never alleged, it was never said that the system was breached or hacked. And when the Washington Post reached out to Brennan, he said that he had never even heard of her. Now, they went back to Morris Lindemann and they said, hey, Brennan said he doesn't know you. He doesn't even remember you and has never even heard of you. And she told them, quote, people like me don't exist. You just have to trust. I mean, in a situation like this, it's hard to say who's lying. Brennan is a proven liar, but obviously so is she. But if you're supposed to be on the down low and people like you don't exist, why is it that you're all over the place? And why are you fabricating your background? Why are you trying to draw attention to yourself? Why would you start a podcast? Why would you put yourself out there? Why would you try to make yourself the center of attention? People who are truly spies and spooks for the government or other groups, they keep a low profile. They don't try to draw attention to themselves. So the Washington Post reached out to Sidney Powell and they asked her about this woman. And she said, quote, I don't have the same information you do. No, really? Maybe because you didn't bother to research. But here's the best part of this story. So not only did Powell not research this woman's history before using her affidavit in legal filings, she's never even spoken to her. The Washington Post spoke with Morris Lindemann and they asked her about her relationship to or interactions with Sidney Powell. And she told the Washington Post she's never spoken to Powell. She simply wrote about these voter fraud allegations and then disseminated her thoughts to, quote, like-minded people. She said that she didn't even realize that Powell was aware of her writings, of her document, until it appeared as an exhibit in legal filings. So Powell used Morris Lindemann's affidavit, I guess they eventually had her sign an affidavit, and this document and her writing about how she believes that Dominion votes have to funnel through Spain, and then Spain changes them and turns them in from Trump votes into Biden votes, and that's how they do it. She used this whole thing without even speaking with this woman first. She actually used them in her Wisconsin and Arizona complaints, which were laughed out of court. And the court said, these are all based on speculation, gossip, innuendo. This is such a clown show. How this woman still has a license to practice and people take her seriously, I just don't even know. It's unreal, absolutely unreal. So when I hear about another clown, I will let you all know. In the meantime, please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll talk with you guys soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.